Hello. You may have wondered what that picture was in the thumbnail to this video. It was the death mask of Blaise Pascal. Died at 39, but lived in a remarkable life. You've heard, no doubt, a lot of the back and forth between so-called science and so-called religion today. They're posited as being enemies of each other, and those who champion science, such as Richard Dawkins and Sam Harris, of course, feel that the discoveries of science and the revelations of Christianity are somehow incompatible. Blaise Pascal did not think that way. Blaise Pascal is one of the greatest scientists who ever lived. He was a great mathematician, responsible among other achievements for the theory of probability, which has been developed from his exploratory thoughts in that direction. He was a great inventor. Invented, among other things, the syringe, the hydraulic press. He was also the inventor of the calculator, the mechanical calculator. Unfortunately, the kind that he invented were so expensive to make that they didn't ever become part of our general culture. But he was a great scientist, and at the age of 31 became a great Christian. He only completed one collection that has become a book, and it's still printed by Penguin, the Provincial letters, one of the masterpieces of French prose, written in the midst of a conflict. By the way, Louis XIV was king of France at the time, and you probably know, if you know anything about Louis's period, it was the period of France's greatest glory. So when Pascal wrote Provincial letters, the religious controversy that he was part of was a dispute between the Jesuits and the Jansenists. The Jansenists were reforming Catholics, and Pascal became part of that cause. Pascal then began a work of apologetics, which he never completed, dying, as I said, at the age of 39. But he left behind a masterpiece of notes called Pensees, the thoughts that he was going to, he hoped, consolidate into a great work of apologetics, defending the faith. So that one of the greatest scientists of all time should also be, at least potentially, one of the greatest apologists of all time. It was not uncommon for the worlds of science and theology to be married in those days. We'll talk later, I hope, in this series about some of the great English scientists of the same period and a little after, including Isaac Newton. I wanted to read to you from, again, Whitmore's book, Testimony of 19 Centuries to Jesus of Nazareth, Pascal's thoughts about Jesus. Here we go. This is from Pensees, published after Pascal's premature death in 1662. Jesus Christ is the object of all, and the center whither all tends. Whoever knows him knows the reason of all things. Great geniuses have their empire, their renown, their greatness, their victory, and their luster, and have no need of material grandeurs, with which they have no relation. They are seen not with the eyes, but with the mind. That is enough. The saints have their empire, their renown, their victory, their luster, and have no need of material or intellectual grandeur, with which they have no relation, for they neither add to them nor take from them. They are seen of God and angels, and not by body and curious intellect. God is sufficient for them. Archimedes, without material splendor, would be held in the same veneration. He gained no battles for the satisfaction of the carnal eye, but he furnished all minds with his inventions. Oh, what splendor he had for minds! Jesus Christ, without wealth, without any outward production of science, is in his order of holiness. He gave no inventions, he did not reign, but he was humble, patient, holy to God, terrible to demons, that's an interesting phrase, without any sin. Oh, with what great pomp and with what prodigious magnificence did he come to the eyes of the heart, and eyes which see wisdom. It would have been useless for Archimedes to affect the prince in his books of geometry, although he might have done this. Archimedes, by the way, we should add, is a great mathematician and geometrist too. It would have been useless for our Lord Jesus Christ, in order to appear with splendor in his reign of holiness, to come as a king. But with what a splendor of his own order had he indeed come. Jesus Christ has said great things so simply that it seems that he has not thought of them, and so precisely, nevertheless, that we see clearly what he thought of them. This clearness, joined to this simplicity, is admirable. He who does not know him knows nothing of the order of the world and nothing of himself. For not only do we know God by Jesus Christ, but we know ourselves only by Jesus Christ. In him is all our goodness, our virtue, our life, our hope. Without him, there is for us only misery, darkness, and despair, and we shall see only obscurity and confusion in the nature of God and in our own nature. That is, without Jesus Christ. These are the thoughts, the pensées of one of the greatest scientists of all time, Blaise Pascal.